I love to begin with just the first couple of words. Those of you who have been with me for a long time know this. And I'm repeating it because I repeat it to myself. So take the first few words of any Hebrew bracha, any Hebrew prayer. It says, Baruch atah Adonai. By the way, when I stand over and lead the morning blessings, what I am sharing with you is what I say to myself. The first thing I do is I look at the word atah. I do not want to say one bracha before I look at the word atah and I really know what it means. Atah means you. And when I say you, I'm speaking to the soul of the universe. And therefore, when I say atah and mean it, I have to mean it very deeply. It's one of my pet peeves when people say, Baruch atah Adonai, it's like fingers on a blackboard. That it's a sing-song that all 8th grade kids have. Baruch atah Adonai. I say, I want you to say atah and mean it. Maybe just once in your life, maybe just once a year. Say atah, close your eyes, and feel that you are speaking to the soul of the universe. That your soul and the soul of the universe have met up for just 1 or 2 seconds. Say atah as if you mean it. Now, you don't have to know any more Hebrew than the word atah, in my opinion, for a long time. Just know one word. Every time you see the word atah in the prayer, but close your eyes and feel that your soul is being brought out to the soul of the universe, and the soul of the universe is being brought toward your soul. And say atah, say it for a few seconds, and mean it, and just be quiet, and see what happens next. That's the first thing. It's all over the prayer book, the word atah. The other word is baruch, and people say praised, blessed. You've heard me say many times, grammatically speaking, I'm not going to go into the intricacies of Hebrew grammar now. Grammatically speaking, baruch probably means, in this context, not blessed, but the source of blessing. Source of blessing. Not blessed, but the source of blessing. Why? I'll just give you 2 examples. The Hebrew word lerachem means to have compassion upon. Rachum means the compassionate one. Lerachem, to have compassion. Rachum, compassionate one. Levarech, to bless. Baruch, the blessing one. Now, not always in the Bible, but I think in the prayer book, it's best to think of Baruch as the blessing one, okay? Or source of blessing. Now, well, I have a soul, there's a divine soul. Language mediates the experience. I'm now just going to say 2 words. Baruch atah. You are the source of blessing. Hold right there. Now, we may have to think for a moment what blessing means. Something flows. It's my Kabbalistic orientation comes out here. Something flows from a metaphysical world into our world. There's a phrase I love in the Bible that we say before we put on the prayer shawl that says, light is the garment of God. Try to imagine that light is a garment, and on the other side of the garment is the divine presence. And God's blessing flows from behind the garment, through the garment, into our souls. It's a hard metaphor because it's hard to imagine light as a garment. But that's what the Bible says. Light is a garment of God. Behind the garment is the divine presence, and this blessing flows through the garment into us. You say, you are the one that blesses. So just for a moment, when you say atah, now say Baruch atah, which is you are the blessing one, and try to experience yourself as the recipient of this flow of blessing from the behind the garment of light, through the garment of light into your soul. And you hold that. Just 2 words. Baruch atah. Hold that. Then let's add the next word, the Yud He Vav He. In English, we say Adonai, which means my Lord, which is a terrible, terrible misfortune for the Jewish people. Terrible misfortune. Because we're saying Adonai, so we don't pronounce the YHVH, which is the actual name of God in the Bible. The way you pronounce YHVH, Yud He Vav He, is not Adonai. The rabbi said, we don't want you pronouncing YHVH because it's the name of God, and we don't want you saying it in casual ways where you don't mean it. The flip side of that is, if you're not saying it in a casual way and you do mean it, go ahead and say the name of God. The Ten Commandments never says don't use the name of God. It says don't use the name of God in vain. So if you know that you're in the proper state of consciousness, you can say Yahweh, right? From my perspective. The rabbis forbade it because they said no one's in the right state of consciousness, right? Now and then, if you're going into Baruch Atah, and when you say Atah, you mean Atah, and when you say Baruch, you can feel the blessing coming into you, I think you can say Yahweh. Now, what is Yahweh? Yahweh is the pronounced name of God, which means cause of being.
Sing, sing, shalom, sing, 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 shalom, sing, 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 shalom, tova.